All right. I think I'm live again. I hope so. I think it just told me I was live. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I am live. So hopefully you guys can see me now and hear me better than you could before. I'm just waiting for my chat to pop up. And once it does, we will get going. Since I was unable to finish the last stream, in case somebody new is here, let me remind you, my name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. Hit that subscribe button if that sounds good to you. It says live now, take two. Okay, everybody says much better. Very good, very good. Okay, good. Hey, everybody. Hey. Terry says hi. Hey, Terry. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Kayla. Hi again. Thank you for being patient with me. Much better. Good. Hey, Colleen. Terry says it sounds much better now. Alyssa says she sees me. Agree with Tamara, says Kayla. I can see and hear. Is everyone else okay? Perfect. Hear and see me now. Great. All right. Much better. Hey, Jamie B. Dad surviving divorce says much better. Thank you guys for coming back. Barb says, okay, hon. Now I can't see or hear you. Somebody asked Barb to refresh, please. Try refreshing, Sophie. Karen Russ French says much better. Terry says you sounded like you were in a tin can before. Hey, Andrea Saunders, welcome back. She's under a new name this time. Okay, I need you to be quiet, dear. Yes. Susan says, much better. I've got to take a nap before I leave for work. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Okay, Susan, good for you. Take a nap. That's so healthy. Hey, girl. Hey, Karen Russ French. Maria Campanioni says, yay. Okay, got me now. Okay, Conchetta. Hey, Conchetta, welcome back. Hey, Leche. Hey. Welcome back. Hair Changes Color says, hi again. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Lynn Powers. Hey, Lynn. Glad it's better. Muffy says, much better. Great. Colleen told Barb to please refresh. Oh, who is this person? What'd you say? I'm sorry. I'm doing this live right now. So, yeah. Muffy says, yay. Terry says, darn kids. I know, right? Okay. Angel F's used a different page. I understand. Dad Surviving Divorce says, I posted in the other comment chat for the first one to refresh and jump on live too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Leche says, my kids are doing quiet time right now. It's amazing and I'm painting. Yeah, I thought mine was still doing. Oh, DSD, he says a handful of people are still over there. Let me know, DSD, about that. If you can see them. Okay. Thank you for letting them know. Barb says, okay, thanks, I'll try. Cynthia says, finally I can see and hear you. Lori says, better. Okay, great. Some weirdo snuck into our chat. Yeah, I blocked that person. Yeah. So, all right, you guys. So how's everybody doing? Hey, I'm glad to hear that your kids are doing the quiet time right now. My daughter does it too sometimes. My son just left to go to his friend's house, so she's feeling probably a little lonely, so she's hanging out with me, and she's sitting behind me, or well, behind you guys over there on her tablet watching our chat. She can't see the chat. That's probably okay. I don't know, Sophie. I can't do that right now. All right. SD says some weirdo snuck into our chat. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon. Why don't you go play, and I'll be with you in just a minute, Sophie. Okay. Hair Changes Color says, I'm finding it hard to listen. People say that nobody's out to get you. That's what my narc said, and then he attacked me. People are out to get me, so that doesn't work for me. At least one person is. I totally understand. I think the best thing that, it sounds like a little bit of a gaslighting situation that you dealt with there. So talk to me about that a little more. Hello, Rena Domingo. She says, how's everyone? Here's Crystal. Oh, Crystal says, met a man in Starbucks. He is confined to a wheelchair, and he told me he was paralyzed from an accident 30 plus years ago. What a reminder. Yeah, she says, a reminder that we can't control life. We can change our thoughts and our actions, right? Exactly. Yep. Sasha says, Pride Week in San Francisco, like a city holiday. Oh, that's awesome, Sasha. Hey, Sue Gable, welcome back. So I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope everybody can still hear me. According to what my screen looks like, I don't appear to be on camera, but as long as you guys can hear me, that is what I need to know. So Avon says, right on, Crystal. That's really the truth. I'm popping out the chat so I can read it better. That's really the truth. I think it's so easy for us to forget, that life can be very difficult and painful at times when we are in the middle of our own hell, as it were. But if we can try to focus on what we want and not what we don't want, boy, it makes a huge difference. And certainly your perception is what it's all about. You know, being confined to a wheelchair. I used to work with people who were confined to wheelchairs, and some of them had the best outlook on life you could imagine, and some of them had the worst. And I mean, look, I understand. I'm not judging anybody, but to see, there was one lady who had been through absolute hell. She had been beaten so horribly by her ex that she literally lost her legs in that situation. And she had the most upbeat, positive attitude of anyone I ever met. And then there was another man who had been in an accident. He'd been drinking and driving a four-wheeler, but I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like a four-wheel, motorcycle almost, but it's anyway like an ATV or something. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, he ran into a tree and it ruined his life. Of course, he was paralyzed from the neck, well, from the waist down and kind of in the arms a little bit. He had some neuropathy and different things. And him and this other guy who had fallen literally 7 feet from a tree stand, he was deer hunting, and he was paralyzed like from here down, and he had to control his wheelchair by the movement of his head, sort of, which was, anyway. Point is, those two guys had terrible attitudes about life, and this other lady who had been horribly beaten and abused, she was just happy to be alive. It's interesting. Our perception really does shape our world and our experience. So thank you for bringing that up, Crystal. Alyssa says, Angie, he wants me to see his niece perform this weekend and be nice and involved with his family, but he won't do the same. He called my sister the C word and holds a grudge on her for getting involved. You know what? That's very common. Narcissists, you just said it. I feel it's a one-way street. It's a two-way street. And if they can't give a little, they shouldn't expect you to give back to them, but they do, because they're not normal. They have a sense of entitlement. I don't think you're required to go see his niece performed if you don't want to. All right. I think you have a right to stand up for yourself and choose not to go. Rena says, what does it mean when a narc hides his new supply? It means he's a cheating liar, usually, or that he's ashamed of the supply, he or she, because a female will do the same. Sometimes they use people just because they're convenient to use, and they're always looking, as you guys probably know, for the next best thing. So, yeah. Hair Changes Color says, my therapist is telling me to be positive and nobody's out to get me. I said, well, that's not really true. I don't get why she said that. Probably because she doesn't really understand the depth of what you're dealing with, would be my guess. I think maybe that's a different thing. Yeah. Give me some more information on that. Hair Changes Color. Crystal says, not to say our situations haven't been traumatic, but perspective is everything. Love to everyone here. Absolutely right, Crystal. Barb says, I'll have to get to your next live chat, Angie. Not kidding you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Barb. Hugs, Barb. Okay. Angel laughs. Can we talk about healing after the physical abuse? Certainly. The physical abuse, I mean, if we're talking about the healing of the body, that's something you have to deal with. I can't give you too many details about that. There are various things you can do. The healing of the mind, though, that injury lasts much longer than the body. So my suggestion would be to stay focused on healing of the mind. I mean, give me some more details about what you're looking for on that one, okay? Kayla says, is it common for narcs to end fights and arguments with, I wash my hands on this one? Oh, I wash my hands of this one. Yeah. She says, this happened to me twice in my life through a written note and a Facebook PM. Yeah, they wash they're like, I'm taking away the responsibility that I hold. I'm giving it away. I don't want it. I'm done with this. Certainly. That's common. They don't want to deal with being wrong ever. So, yeah. And Miss Muffy says, love back to Crystal. Love that. Let's see here. Sasha says, I call myself a wheelchair user. My wheelchair actually frees me to be out in the world and live a great life, not confining it all. Exactly, Sasha. That's something. And you know what? It's a it's a difficult place to be, and it certainly isn't something anybody necessarily wants to deal with. But yeah, just like Sasha said, she's having a positive attitude about it. It's getting her out in the world, not being stuck in the house and in the bed or whatever. Yeah. Thank you, Sasha, for sharing that. Avon says, whoops. Oh, I hate when I lose my place. Hold on, let me scroll back up and find it. Avon says, "Hey, I missed the rainbow. I love those things." All right, I'll try to pop that in a video. It's a good rainbow. Alyssa says, "I feel insane. Is this why? Wait, why is it I can see his family, but he won't see mine? When my family is forgiving and nice, his isn't. 3 years, never met my son. Oh, they never met your son after 3 years? You're not insane. You have a right to not, because they won't accept my son? Girl." She says, when I said I didn't want to go, he said, I'm making him choose between his niece and me. And what kind of woman does that? I said, he can go. I don't mind. But I'm not sure I'm comfortable unless he's willing to meet me halfway, do the same with my family. He turned his family against me. I would not go. I would absolutely refuse to go. I would not go. There's absolutely no way that I would go. If they don't accept your son, that's strike one against them. They don't like you, that's strike two against them. He turned them against you, strike three. And I mean, if there's such a thing as strike four, he's out. He's the one who turned him against you, and they're not respectful to you, and he's not willing to meet you halfway and do the same with your family. I mean, I'm not sure why you would even, I wouldn't go. My advice is do not go, refuse to go. Absolutely not. That's your child. Nope. I agree with your instinct that you shouldn't go, Alyssa. Lori Bunting says, my ex always tells me that I am causing all the animosity. That's common. That's why we always think there's something wrong with us. They always tell us that we're the problem. And the truth is, certainly we react to their abuse. But the truth is, if you put us in a situation where we're with a decent person, we don't have these problems. And that's because these aren't decent people in the respect of they don't give a crap about how anyone feels except for themselves. They feel very strongly about how they feel. They just don't really, feel strongly about how anyone else feels, except that they strongly don't care, maybe. But it's very common that they say you're the one causing it. Yeah, for sure. Barbara says she's feeling really aggravated right now. Tell me why, Barbara. Talk to me. Maybe that's a good thing. Aggravated is better than sad sometimes. Tell me more about it. Annalie else, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm going to just call you Annalie, says, hi, I'm staying in South Africa. I moved out of my house with a restraining order 8 months ago. I live in a garage with 2 small dogs. He's removed everything from our house for himself. Yeah, that's pretty common. I hope you're doing okay in there. It seems like that would be a difficult place to be. Tell me some more, Annalie. Andrea Saunders says, I'm back. Welcome back, Andrea. Muffy says, yes, it does. As my mental health has always been, yes, it does. As my mental health has always been unfair, but even with recent diagnosis of 2 brain tumors on, still thinking, I don't know if she meant mental. She wrote metal. I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding or if that's a typo, but with the recent diagnosis of 2 brain tumors, still thanking the big guy for many other blessings. It could have been worse. That's amazing, Muffy. That's amazing. And that's why you're keeping yourself going, because of that attitude. You've got to have, yes, it's unfair. It's not right. But you know what? Having the ability to be grateful for the things that you do have, my friend, is beautiful and strength. And it makes your life better. Big hugs to you, Muffy. Kimberly says, hi, catching you live strengthens me. I'm leaving for work in a few and dread having to deal with those ugly people who deflect, gaslighted, hoovers, lied about me, picked on me, and taunted me. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. And then I was finally tired and I had enough and I stood up for myself. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself, Kimberly, and I'm so glad that it helps you to be here in our live streams. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Nadia says, do you think I can use past events to get protection from my narc? You mean for the police? Yes, I think you can. I do. And I don't know. I have a David, one of our guys who comes in here, he's connected with me on Facebook. He's a police detective, and he would be the person that I would get the best information on that. But Nadia, would you please email me and remind me, and I'll ask David that question and I'll make a video for you. Email me at angyyatkinson@gmail.com. Okay. Thank you. That's AngieYatkinson, which I know is not how we spell my name, but that's how it's spelled in the email. So, yes. And Jamie B says, yes, you can use anything he's done to you. Keep a journal, document everything. I totally agree with that in every single situation. Yeah. Yep. Big hugs to Muffy from K. Ren Russ French. Nadia says, like, he has pushed me before, threatened to hit me. Yes. Take daughter away. He bit your daughter? But up until now, I've been too scared to take action. And I wasn't in a good place financially. Okay. Nadia, let me send you some strength. I want you to take action. You should not continue to be abused like this. And you certainly, that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say anything to incriminate anyone here or anything, but you certainly do not have to tolerate that. And I would not tolerate that, especially any of it, especially not the biting of the daughter, but even pushing you, threatening to hit you, all of these things. None of these things are okay. Yeah. Alyssa says to Kayla, oh my God, he says the same thing to me. He says the same phrase to me. Yeah. Cynthia says, I'm burnt out. I'm so tired all the time. Yeah, that's exactly how they make us feel. Like we're just overwhelmed. Like we're just numb, dead inside almost sometimes. I used to joke I was dead inside. Yeah. And it's not funny, but that, I don't know, it worked for me at the time. It's not funny. Barbara says, I really think he's wondering what I'm up to, but he won't break that code of silence. Yeah, Barbara, that's probably true. And good. I'm glad he's not breaking the code of silence. I'm hoping that as he stays away, you begin to heal. I think it's good that you are feeling a little angry, because I think that shows that you're in the next stage of grief. You're not just devastated right now, you're getting mad, and getting mad sometimes can lead us to action that can be really good for us. So I want you to stay with me. I want you to stay strong and keep focusing on healing, because I think you're moving in the right direction. I hope that's a little bit helpful. Barbara says, I already told you that one. Okay. Nadia says to Jamie B, even if it was months or years ago, I can't live like this, like living on a volcano that can blow at any moment. Not a question of if, but when. Yep. Yep. Crystal says, right on, Sasha Bittner. SD says to Cynthia, me too, and naps help. Yep, I just did a video about naps. Hair changes color says, well, the narc took all my things. Police said they would discuss with his lawyer when I can get it back, and haven't heard back in a month. One thing after another goes wrong. That's terrible. I suggest, I don't know what your situation is as far as, employment, but sometimes we have to lose things in order to move forward in our life. If there are things that are precious to you, it could be worth continuing to fight for. But maybe if there are things that are just things, you could just get new things as you can, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but like, I know around here, if you, like, I bought we had our basement redone and it cost a lot of money. I wanted to furnish it with some extra couches and tables and bar stools and things like that. And so I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So you know what I did? I went to the Salvation Army for like less than $400, including a $75 delivery fee. I got what equated to an entire household full of furniture. And, you probably don't need that much furniture, but I'm just saying, you can look around in your area. There may be ways that you can replace some of your things without great expense until you can afford to buy nicer things. I would not sit in nothing until then, if that helps at all. If they are precious things, that would be a different situation. If there are things that you cannot replace, that's a different situation. But if they are just things, I would replace them and consider them well spent to get away from the narcissist. Just my thoughts. Kayla says to SD something like that, not wanting to listen when you have comments about their behaviors and actions. Yeah, that's very common. Exactly. And that's exactly, I think, why so many of us become so, we find it difficult to communicate after a while because we're so used to just shutting up and dealing with our problems ourselves because we don't get any support from the people that are supposed to be supporting us. Um, Nadia says, I mean, ignoring me and his daughter is still a form of abuse. Then trying to say our daughter is bad because she didn't want to go to the park with him. What kind of example is that? Yeah, he's a terrible example of a person for your daughter. I totally respect that. And yeah, and as Jamie B says, absolutely, you're in fear. Make sure you explain that to the authorities, and that as long as everything is going the way he wants and he's in control, he's fine. But the second you question him, he flips out. You have the right to autonomy. You have the right to your opinion, and you have the right to, to at least 50% of the time get what you want in a relationship. I mean, relationships involve compromise and involve, and compromise means you both give a little and you both come out satisfied. It doesn't mean, Nadia, that your spouse chooses all the things and you compromise by just doing whatever he wants and not getting what you want. That's not compromise. He has to compromise too, you know? Yep. SD says to Kayla, yes, narcissists don't listen because they're not accountable for their actions. True that, sister. Sasha says to hair changes color. My therapist said the same thing too, that the narc wasn't out to purposely get me. Since I don't think that about other people, I thought my therapist didn't get it. You guys, we've talked about this a little bit before. Therapists sometimes aren't trained to understand ambient abuse, gaslighting, that kind of stuff. They don't understand narcissists. They sometimes understand physical abuse, but narcissistic abuse is pervasive and sneaky, and people might not really get what you're dealing with if they either aren't educated about it or haven't experienced it. And I'm going to be straight up with you. Sometimes even when people are educated about it, if they haven't experienced it themselves, they still don't get it. It's an unfortunate but true fact. Yep. Yep. Um, Nadia says, Jamie B, thank you. I hope it's enough to get an order of protection in Illinois. I'm going to try and get in touch with a lawyer as soon as I can. And you are right. It's like living in fear. Yeah, constantly. And that means, your brain connections are messing up right now. And not that there's anything wrong with you, but you will soon, if you're not careful, you could lose the ability to naturally become happy and peaceful to yourself. You won't lose it, but it will be harder to become that because your brain right now is in constant fight or flight mode. You could get adrenal fatigue or all kinds of other bad things could happen to you. So I want you to take care of yourself, sweetie, and make sure, try to get that order of protection if you can. Yeah. Oh. Avon says, hey, Angie, my older brother is dying and that situation is so toxic I can't handle it. Even after many years, I'm feeling guilty. Avon, I understand. I do. I really do. I have gone through various little guilt bubbles regarding my family as well. But I've had to take the time to remind myself of the stuff. If you need to see your brother, I will understand that. And I would suggest that you do so in the least painful way possible. But if the situation is so toxic and you can't handle it, you can't beat yourself up about it. The fact is, I would ask yourself, is it going to change anything? Is going to see him going to help me or him in any way? And if it does, is it going to change anything? Is it going to will you find closure with him? Will you find, try not to feel guilty. You have to protect yourself. I guess I need more information on that, Avon, but I hope that I can help you understand that just because someone's dying, it doesn't change the fact that they're an abuser. If your brother is the abuser, I don't think you need to go. And I don't think you should feel guilty for not going, you know. Eyes Open to Fi says, hi, Angie. I just had my first session and my therapist suggested I join some kind of support group. I'm kind of isolated living here on the coast of Ecuador. How do I join your group? You go to queenbeing.com/span. And that's SPAN. Maybe somebody would type it in the chat for me. And so that's queenbeing.com/ban, and just click through and click the join button. If you want to send me a message personally on Facebook and make sure you get in, just let me know who you are on YouTube. I'll make sure you do. Okay. Jamie B says it's the worst. I know because I lived like that for 17 years. Yes, it's horrible. Yes. Um, Sue says 100% proof of narc's intention from his own daughter, no license, trying to reinstate his bestie, told him not to let me get a car. I'll cheat. Like, really, like I can't now. That's outrageous. And what a that are you sure the best friend told him that, or do you think that he just said to you that that was his own daughter told you? I would just do what you want to do and get your own car if you can. I don't think he can tell you you can't get a car unless it's about money, in which case it's a little different. Um, yeah, that's interesting seeing the proof of the intention, right? Yeah. And here's another thing that Sue that proves, and that is that he has very little self-confidence and that's very common. Narcs tend to have low self-esteem, although they don't behave like they do. They very often do. And this is an example of that. Yeah. Colleen says to Avon, I'm so very sorry to hear that. Big hugs to you. Ditto. I ditto Colleen on that one. Andrea Saunders says, even though I know it, it's nice to be reinforced. Why does it still bother me after 2.5 years to see the new supply happy and content, even knowing he's still married to me? I'm a fool. You're not a fool, Andrea. Knowing he's still married to you after 2.5 years to see the new supply happy and content, you should know that you're seeing a lie. You're seeing the love bombing. Obviously, knowing he's still married to you doesn't make you the fool. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but the new supply seems to be in the position of being fooled here, not you. You may be the only one who's not being fooled. So remember that they don't change, and the new supply, if she's not already getting it, will get it at some point in the near future. Be aware. Jamie B. Nadia says to you, I am scared they will blame me for him biting her and me not doing anything before, but I was scared it would make things worse with him. Well, I'm sure that you stopped allowing him to be alone with her and you did whatever you could do to protect her from him. That is very strange that somebody would bite a little baby like that, a little child like that. I would not be okay with it. And I don't know how he bit her, and you don't need to talk about it in chat if you don't want to, but I think that's really messed up. I know that some people say, some people, if their children start to bite, when they start to get teeth, they bite their children back. And I think that's very unhealthy and not okay. I never did that. All I had to do with my kids was scream once. Oh, and I'm so sorry. They didn't know it hurt, So, yeah. Andrea says, even though I know it, oh yeah, we already talked about that one. Okay. Kayla, listen, Nadia, I don't think they're going to blame you for him biting her. I think what you did was you probably protected her after that point from him, but you were still, obviously you've been scared, you've been abused, you've been oppressed, and he has actively cultivated that. So I don't think it's your fault, and I don't think you should be blamed for it. Kayla says to SD, my sis got to live a few days, which became 3 weeks. He doesn't do anything to get help themselves. Don't do anything to get help themselves except helping themselves. Yeah. I had enough when she wrote on my rules note with rules that seemed to be from me, which I had never stated. Huh. That's horrible. I don't even know what to think about that. So they're gaslighting is what you're telling me? My boyfriend accused me of stealing money from his wallet, which I didn't, says Cynthia. But he's so insistent that I found myself thinking that maybe I did it and I forgot about it. I don't think so. I don't know, maybe. No, that's gaslighting, sweetie. That's gaslighting, straight up. He accused you of stealing it and you didn't, period. He's so insistent that you doubted yourself. That is gaslighting in a nutshell right there. They tell you you did something you didn't do, or they accuse you of something you didn't do, or they say you didn't do something you did do, and then they play the game with you that puts you in that position. Yeah, no, totally no. Yes. Uh, Andrea says, oh yeah, we got that one. Okay. So Cynthia, no, I think you're being gaslighted. Muffy says medical. Oh, okay, that's better. That makes sense. Medical health. Okay. Swipe is not good sometimes. I've been sick most of my life. Oh no, don't, no, no. Don't be sorry, sweetie. I haven't had enough coffee today. I'm a little tired. I'm just not my usual self. It was not your fault. Please don't take the blame for that. That was just a simple thing. We have so many people coming through the chat that it really makes it hard sometimes to catch it all. So, yes, don't blame yourself at all. Um, yeah, SD says, Kayla, it's like talking to a brick wall. Yes, absolutely. I've said that a bazillion times. It's so true. It's so true. I'm scrolling back up so I don't miss anybody. Okay. Muffy says, okay, no confusion. We're all good. Sasha Bittner says to Crystal, thanks. I was born this way, disabled, and was taught to be proud of who I am and to do well in this world. Yeah. And this is interesting that you say this, Sasha, and maybe you can help me and help me if understand something. That was something that I noticed. Those people who had been born this way um, tended to be more happy than the people who weren't. And I think, obviously we can get why, but at the same time, I think that whenever anything, I don't know, I have nothing but love for anyone who, is able to stay positive through a situation like this. Sasha, I think it's a beautiful thing that you were taught to be proud of who you are and to do well in the world, because I think that everybody should be taught that, regardless of a disability or otherwise, and I'm very, very happy that you're here in this group and that you're standing up and speaking your truth. I love that, and I think it's beautiful, and I think you're beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that. Sue says, I gave ultimatum. Either, did I miss the front of yours? Sue says, gave ultimatum, either help me or I'm gone. I can't live like a prisoner anymore. Used his tactic, made it about his needs. I'd be able to help him more. Winning. Right on. That's awesome. Sending you strength, Nadia. Yep. That's from Sue Gable. Sue Gable sends you strength, Nadia. Hair changes color says to Sasha, yeah, she supposedly has all this DV experience, but maybe just can't understand. Domestic violence is one thing. Physical abuse is one thing. The emotional abuse is very pervasive, and it's not just standard. With narcissists, they go so far beyond what normal people would do. It's shocking to even therapists. It's still shocking to me sometimes how horrible they can be. Yep. Yep. Yeah. SD says, Kayla, the selfishness is insane. Yes, indeed. Sally, hey Sally, says, what do you do when the ex turned my only son against me? Now I feel my son is also a narcissist. My son won't have anything to do with me, and my son's wife is a narcissist. I don't know what to do. Sally, that is such a difficult place to be. I hate that it's happening to you. I mean, I think the best thing you can do is to make it clear to your son that you love him and that you will do anything, if he wants to see you or be, spend time with you, or if he needs you, you're there. And, as far as the wife goes, quite honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do, because the wife's going to have her hooks directly in him. The best thing you can do is to be just straight up loving. Don't tolerate abuse from anyone, not the wife, not the ex. But make sure that you do your very best to just tell your son anytime you have an opportunity, I love you and I'm here for you if you need me. And I don't want to make your life harder, so I won't keep bothering you. Just tell me when you're ready or if you need me. You know what I mean? Just if you're invited to anything they do, show up, be kind, be polite. As far as the wife goes, it's a difficult spot, because the wife probably, if she is a narcissist, has replaced your ex as your son's, person. I want to say, let me just say that, the person who will control him. If he is a narcissist or a broken empath or just a regular person under bad circumstances, unfortunately, these people, they're just going to make it worse. I think the best thing you can do is just to honestly let him know under no uncertain terms that you understand he's being affected by people in his life, and you apologize for anything that you ever did to upset him, but that you love him unconditionally and you'll be there if he needs you, and just leave it at that, and then try to work on healing yourself. It's a terrible place to be, and I feel awful for you, Sally. I can only imagine how hard that would be. Yeah. Leche says to Nadia, go to the domestic violence group in your community. The police station will have that information. They helped me and they will help you, she says. Hear that, Nadia? I think that's very good advice. Maria says her heart breaks for Nadia. Yep. And Sue sends Nadia strength. Annalise says, it's very difficult in the garage with the dogs, but at least we have peace. He convinced everyone that I'm dangerous and he is very scared of me. I can't believe everyone is falling for his soppy stories. Yeah, that is horrible, Annalie. And that's exactly an example of someone who's a narcissist. Yeah, for sure. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I wish that you could. But peace is important. I mean, and Annalie, this is an example, you guys. She's living in a garage with 2 dogs just so she could not live with a narcissist. And even though he's obviously insane, because he's convinced everyone he's dangerous and he's scared of her because, of course, he doesn't want anyone to help her. You understand? He wants everyone to feel, he's doing the narcissistic injury thing here, and he's doing the smear campaign thing here, is exactly what's happening. Annalie, I suggest that you watch videos, search my channel for smear campaign and take a look at that. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this. This is terrible. Hair changes color, says to Nadia, even threatening is abuse. Yep. Leche says, mine bashed my window in on my van, yelled at me all the time in front of the kids, was constantly telling me he planned on killing himself because of me. He was even driving by every night. Oh my God. I am so sorry. Sasha says to hair changes color, for me, it was subtle so that it was different more than more outward abuse. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's sneaky. It's sneaky. That's why they call it ambient abuse. It's hard to detect. Yeah. For people, especially from the outside who don't understand the depth of it. Yeah. Yeah. Maria tells Nadia to read Why Does He Do That? It gave her strength. Yeah, that is linked to from my site, or you could just search Google or Amazon for it. You could probably download it on Kindle today if you wanted to. Tomorrow I have one of my books going on free for a week, and I have another one that is normally $7.99 going down to 99 cents for a week. So be aware of that. I'll post about it when it goes live. Leche says having that restraining order was freeing. We can only communicate through Talking Parents, and which I assume is an app, and he stopped driving by. The domestic violence organizations help. So please note that, everybody. Domestic violence organizations can help. Nadia says, thanks, Angie and everyone. I'm gathering all the information I need to take action the right and safe way. You're a smart lady, Nadia, and I'm really proud of you. And you have our support. You do. SD says, I'm afraid for Nadia. Please get protection. I want you guys to listen to me. Nadia knows that she needs to get out, and I don't want anyone to scare her away from our group here. Sometimes when people get too anxious and upset about things, they might scare away the person they're trying to help. Nadia is a sweet soul, and she's protecting her child, and she's doing her very best. So let's all just support her and know that we're here for her. Let's not push her too hard. Okay. I agree she needs to get out. I totally agree with that. But I also just want to remind you of that. It's important that we support each other in a way that is not overly controlling or pushy or alarmist. It causes us to step back. As survivors, where those people will step back from drama. Let's not do it here. Okay. Muffy says, I always say I feel like I lost me, but I'm beginning to get me back, I think. That's a beautiful thing, my friend. And I've been there and done that. I'm going to tell you something that I find interesting. When we go through abuse, a lot of times we find ourselves trying to be the person we used to be when we come out of the abuse, but we can never be that person again. We can only be a new, more evolved version of ourselves. So I like to say, it's time to reinvent yourself. It's time to create the person who you want to be, and you get to be anybody you want. I think it's a beautiful thing, my friend. But I do feel you, Muffy, on the getting yourself back, because there is a core person in there, the real you. And I want to point out that I think the real us is the person, the people that we want to be, so much more than the people we think we're supposed to be. Be the person you want to be, Muffy. It's a good thing. Yeah. Kayla says, to SD, I snapped and wrote that she had 2 hours to get her things and get out. She flipped and tried affirming to me that she hadn't done any bad and that she had done everything for me. It never registered to her what I was telling her. Common, yes, common, Kayla. Sue says, to hair color, if you receive mail at address, stuff is at, if you receive mail at the address that stuff is at, your stuff is at, the police will escort you and walk you through. If one cop said that, call another. Remember, you're more important than things. I like what Sue said, and that's true. I've seen that before. Thank you, Sue, for saying that. I have heard and seen that done. Police will escort you through if you get mail at that address. Thank you, Sue. That was a really important and excellent point to make. Thank you. Kayla says to Nadia, my prayers are with you. Yes, mine too. Yeah, Kayla, SD says it's like talking to a brick wall. Absolutely. Cynthia says he accuses me of emotional abuse by using the silent treatment. He's read it and now uses it against me. The reality is that I'm grave rogging, but he only sees his end of the whole situation. Yes, dear, that's common. They tend to, they do, they tend to only see their side of the situation and twist everything around. So try not to let the accusations bother you, you know? Don't respond to them and don't give them any credence. Alyssa says to Muffy, don't ever lose yourself to a man. One thing I rebel against with my narc is that he won't bring me down. I've let him, but what picks me up is knowing he's okay and functioning. And then I will be too. Okay, so I need you to know, Alyssa, that you don't have to make sure he's up and functioning. You just need to make sure that you and your daughter are up and functioning. Okay, big hugs. Nadia says to Sasha and Kayla, thank you so much. Big hugs for Nadia. Renee says, hey Renee, welcome back, honey. Hey Angie, I'm glad you're still here. I'm very sad today, and just seeing you in the tribe eases the pain a bit. My oldest son, who's 23 and an empath, just went home after visiting, and he's been my rock. Oh, sweetie, I understand. I want to cry for you. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, MMH. Hey, MMH, welcome back. Says to hair changes color. Renee, you got me. Sorry. Renee got me on that one. Whew. Okay. Stupid hormones. MMH says to hair changes color. The cheapest I've refurbished a whole apartment is $250. It was frustrating, but I didn't have to feel helpless about it anymore. Yeah. See, that's the thing. You can refurbish a whole apartment for $250 if you're careful. And, you could take one thing at a time, go get a couch. That's a place to sleep and a place to sit, and obviously you have some sort of connection to the internet. So that's a start. You can watch TV on it. You can watch videos on it. You can do all this. That's a start. You've got entertainment. You got a place to sleep and a place to sit. Get yourself a little table. There you go. You've got a place to eat. You know what I mean? One thing at a time. Don't sit in an empty apartment. It's miserable. Even if it's not perfect, you can still pick up a couch and work on that. All right. Renee says, Nadia, I'm sorry your days aren't getting any better. Since we last spoke, I've gotten sadder. I can't read that. I'm sorry, Renee. Big hugs. That's Cindy says, is it normal to feel exhausted after 2 long-term relationships? Yes. Toxic relationships. Yes, Cindy, it is normal. It is normal. Yes. Yes. Andrea says, I lost everything that he didn't chop up or just destroy, but I'm safe and I have that back plus more. It's a hard start over, but it's so worth it. Yes, ma'am, you are so right. Okay. I love you guys, but I'm about to close up. Big hugs. Oh, wait. Is that why my heart rate is elevated and I can't sleep and there's a swollen lymph node in my throat? Yes, I think yes. Go to the doctor. Get it checked out. Alyssa says, oh, this is good. Alyssa says to Nadia, I am in Illinois. What part are you in? Yes. Okay, guys, I have to go. I'll see you later today for another video. Actually, I've already recorded the video. I'm about to upload it right now. And it is what happens when a narcissist doesn't get what they want versus a normal person. I think you might enjoy it. I'm going to save this chat as usual and read through it all. I'm sorry for my little moment. Stupid empathy and hormones mixed at the same time. It's no good, y'all. Renee, I really feel you. I have 3 kids, you guys know, and 2 of them are boys. My oldest is almost 20, and my middle son is 13, and y'all know Sophie. So my kids are my heart, so I really feel you on that. All right, I'm closing up. Thank you guys for being a part of my day and a part of my life. Thank you for letting me be a part of yours. I'm sorry for the little hiccup at the beginning of our session where I had to start over, but I'll see you. Like I said, I'm popping another video up shortly, and I'll be here tomorrow morning for our usual session. 9:15ish Central Time. If you're not already on my list, send a text to 33222 and send the words Angie Live, all one word, ANGIE Live, and I will certainly text you 5 minutes before I go live each time so that you'll know. And that's the only time I text is just 5 minutes before I go live. So it's 5 days a week plus 1 because on Tuesdays I go live twice, and that's all it is. All right. Thanks so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. Thank you for letting me be a part of yours. You guys are amazing, and I love you all, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day.